Well, howdy, y'all. It's a Monday morning, and I want to wish you all happy Memorial Day. I guess I am an American, so does that mean it's a Memorial Day for me too, or not? Because I don't live in America, I don't get to celebrate
Of
it. I do have
course.
to work, but of course, being an American, I of course do appreciate it, and very much, I very sincerely appreciate and we really should pray for those who gave their lives for our country, the brave men and women who have done so over the past, three millennia, three what's 100 words? Not 100 years, not decades. It's a is it a
Century.
century?
A
Thank you, Matt.
century.
Wow, it's a
Yeah,
Monday morning, right, guys? It's Monday.
Very early Monday
Century.
morning.
That's not a hard word, Kevin. That's not a hard word. Anyway, yeah. Let's say a prayer for all those who've died. And everyone. We hope that you take this day, and I'm sure people are barbecuing and spending it, having fun, which is great. But let's remember those why we're celebrating it, and say a prayer for those who've died for our sometimes awesome country. Joined by Matt today. I thought for a bit we weren't going to be joined by Matt, so props to Matt for getting to it. Matt had some other stuff, but he was nice enough to still pop on for a few minutes. So Matt, thanks for joining.
Yeah, another you had last week off, right, Kev? Was it the what was it for
No,
you?
no, we did
For
we did
Monday.
we did last week. We were on together last week.
No, but you had like a holiday, like
Yeah, we
something,
had
right?
right. So it was Pentecost Monday, right? So
Pentecost. Oh, that's
so
right.
it's
That's right.
we just
Yeah.
double celebrate Pentecost and Easter. So literally holiday and holy day. So right, I don't get Memorial Day, but
And isn't
Thursday's off because Corpus Christi is a holiday. So
wow. And
yeah,
isn't
so
there a
I can't
Mother's Day
complain.
coming up in Europe that
No,
reflects
Mother's
something
Day
with
in Germany
did I miss that?
was the second week of May. Father's Day is
Oh,
actually Ascension Thursday, so they're both gone already.
right. It's
But it could
always
be different
interesting.
somewhere else too. Yeah,
Yeah, how Europe they align the Catholic calendar with your
they do.
work
They do.
week and
Yeah.
all of that. I
No, it
was
is.
actually reading
It's nice. Yeah.
Pope Leo the 13th was saying how the state should enshrine into its constitution everything that the Holy Catholic Church teaches and
Amen to that.
whatnot. Doesn't sound like religious freedom to me when I
that,
hear
that that
that.
is that is way too true. Yeah, I mean, I had a guest on, and we were talking about that the other day about the Constitution. It's like that's I've said many times I think that the U.S. kind of lost its soul when they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but he was kind of like really they kind of lost it when they signed when they made the Constitution and separated church and state, etc. And it's a good point. I mean, I think it's a little too harsh, but it's true. It was never a Catholic country, and you definitely see it.
I actually saw this clip. I think it was from a movie, but it was about the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And part of the footage that was used in the movie that was made was footage of a Catholic mass, which was
Wow.
taking place around that time. And man, I can't remember the details now, but I guess there were in the movie itself, there was actual footage of mass in Japan in the 1940s, but there was also some stories of how what was going on in churches when the bombs dropped. And there was an account that I came across where a woman was in line for confession, and the priest was hearing confessions when they felt everything shake and all the after effects of it. So you really think
Wow.
back of I didn't realize growing up, and this was never taught to me until recent years of when I looked into it a little bit, and nothing extensive, but just how Catholic of a country Japan either was or was becoming. It seemed that they had a very lively and active faith there,
Yeah, and that
and
the
it was
two
wiped
most
out.
Catholic countries were the ones that were bombed. At least that's what I've always heard. I guess I don't know that for a fact, but that's the
Sure.
rumor they say, and that's yeah, it makes you wonder. Why did they drop it on those two cities? I of course I'm sure you would agree with me that they should never have dropped it on any cities. I mean,
Yes.
I think that's an unimaginably, horrifyingly immoral thing to do. Now, atomic bombs, if you want to just show your power, I guess that's one thing, but dropping it on innocent people is just nightmarish. But that's a whole other topic. I mean, you can talk about the firebombing of I think what was it, Tokyo, Dresden, etc. That actually killed just about as many people as
Mm.
those two bombs did. So the morality was already pretty far gone by the time we got to the bombs. But I guess to me, it's just like that was just the moment where it's like, oh, yep, now we're not playing around anymore. We're just gonna, yeah, we don't care. We don't. There's no more morality. No, nobody cares anymore. And I talked to someone today about Julian Assange, and Snowden,
Mm.
and how these things work. And it's just like in the end, it's like, does America actually really care? Like the government, obviously not the people. But do they actually have any morality at all? And I would say no. And I'd say not for a very long time. So hopefully, another thing to pray for, I suppose, that someday we get back a
And
little bit of a
speaking of morality, Biden just said this past weekend, where if he wins a second term, he will enshrine Roe v. Wade into into the Constitution. They've
oh
said
my,
this before, and the
yeah,
Democrats have
right.
had power to do that for many, many, many decades, and they haven't. But the moral compass is completely inversed.
Yeah, that is too true. Well, let's get into another topic. As everyone's been seeing, we're actually we have a video today. So many people listen to this. Usually, it's just usually audio, but today we're going to try a screen share without our lovely faces up there. And I came across this article. I got to go to the other website. I came across this article. It was shared by His Excellency Bishop
Mm.
Charles McGuire of
Mhm.
at St. Gertrude the Great. And pretty interesting about the eerie world of AI imagery. And as you see, just the picture there is just very strange. Again, it's of Saint Dymphna, and yeah, she looks like a scared like a horror movie, right? And we're not going to read through the whole thing, Matt. I know Matt doesn't have a whole lot of time. Again, Matt has other things to do, but I think if we glance at a couple of these images, Matt, I guess my first question for you is what are your thoughts on
I'm looking
AI?
at this one there, and I'm trying to count the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always look at the hand, the
Yeah,
right
the
hand. I'm
right
sorry.
hand. Yeah,
For whatever reason, the fingers can't be accurately portrayed, and I'm not sure why.
but they
But
often mess it up. Yeah,
yeah, for some reason the hands are often distorted and all that, but um, one of the things that I've kind of noticed is there are some beautiful images that come out of AI, and I've caught a
yeah,
few here and there, and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful, or this one is really appealing to the eye. But then you take a closer look at it, and you realize that what sort of passion or love or drive
yeah.
or work towards God goes into just hitting a computer button and generating an
Exactly.
image, and you compare it to the great works that have been painted and have been. I have many here near my computer desk here. Um, that just so much time and effort and love of God really went into these works. And you look at these two here, like
Yeah.
they always have that dark energy towards them.
Yeah,
They always have
exactly.
like that
Yeah,
very like that eerie looking mystique about them that it just you could see there it raises confusion rather than admiration. That's very true.
right.
I lost the let here, yeah.
Well, this one's interesting too. You
Or
see,
good success rather, good success, sorry.
yeah, and you see the one on the right is AI, and at first glance it's like, oh, that's a beautiful picture, but I like how the writer describes it as the AI presents a different Mary. Her eyes neither look upward in admiration to God nor downward with compassion to her children, but rather are turned toward herself. It's kind of a yeah egotistical sense, and I think that might be being a little too harsh, but it actually when you think about it, you look at the eyes, it does look kind of vain, doesn't it? It actually does. I don't know if I would have noticed that if she didn't say it in this article, but now that she said it, it's like, yeah, she does. Like Mary in that picture looks like kind of like, hey, look at me, kind of thing. Obviously, that's of course not.
In the bottom paragraph too, the woman in the second picture shows a sentimental and soft spirit, but without kindness and mercy.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, you can see that in her eyes. Like, that does look a bit more genuine and more, uh, less AI than, I guess, if that's the term, less
Right.
AI than other AI, but still it lacks that human element that and
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
you just see too, like there's some artists. There's an image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus that I have by an artist named whose last name is Chambers, and a lot of his work is very
Ah, I know
reflective.
him. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's done one of Our Lady, and he's done a few other paintings as well. And you could almost see like his style or his technique or his the colors that he uses and the elements that
Hmm.
he uses in his work. And so you are able to recognize you're able to look at a painting and say, oh, I bet that's done by Chambers, or you could just tell by the color and all that. When you look at this AI stuff, it brings out that human element to an extent of which we lose that recognizability. Maybe if
Yeah.
that's if you know what I'm saying,
Sounds good.
as to who is doing what, and to put it in a time too, because to me, there's always a story when work is done in a particular time. Like you think about the works that Michelangelo has painted, right? They're not just works that we are to look at on paper, but you can relate it to the events going on in the world at the time. You can relate it to the Pope at the time. You can relate it to the average lifestyle of a Catholic in in those years. There's no story with AI. There's no backstory to any of these things. There's no You read about I don't know, I'm trying to come up with another name on the spot here, but all these men who lived these and not always Catholic lives either, but there's a great
Caravaggio
story behind it.
is a
Yeah,
great
right,
example,
right,
right?
right,
He
right,
was
right,
supposed. I think he's supposed to have even been possibly a murderer, but his
right.
art is unbelievable. I have like I think three pieces of Caravaggio in the office here. Just
Mm.
it's so lifelike. It's incredible. But as you say though, there's something to it that it's real. That you can tell it was painted by somebody. If you walk through the museum in the Vatican and you see the art that was the Vatican's art, and obviously that's only a tiny portion of what we're allowed to see is what actually exists in the Vatican.
Right.
But
I'm sure, yeah.
it's incredible, and a lot of those pieces are Caravaggio. He's like my favorite. Bouguereau is another one who's just incredible. I'm sure you've seen many images of Bouguereau. Chambers is another one of my favorites. But you're so right when you say that I hate AI images like with a passion. Like I don't. It's exactly as you said. Like, it doesn't matter how beautiful they are. It's cheating. It's Barry Bonds. They are the Barry Bonds of art. you know,
Painting on steroids.
it is though. It's cheating. It is literally, as you said, it's not putting your hard work, your talents that God gave you. It's literally just hey computer, do this. Oh, I cannot. That is it's one of the worst things I see right now in society. And I know it's not sinful or anything, but just it makes me ill, and I cannot stand it just for what it is. And then to take on to the whole other aspect. Some of them are very creepy, but they're not all creepy. I think that they kind of pick and choose here in this article, but some of them are remarkable, and you do have to take a second to look and like, wait, is that real or is that AI? But then I think when you see that it's AI, then it's like, oh, come on, give me
Mm.
a break. It just, I don't know.
And I just really, like I was saying earlier, I just love the timelessness and the agelessness of a lot of the actual real works. You look at that the Pieta by Michelangelo, and
Yeah,
obviously that's not
right.
a painting but sculpture, but it's dated. Or even I have a my chapel actually has a painting that I believe is an original done in maybe 18 something or whatever, and you
Mm-hmm.
could actually date that. Human hands made that in a certain time period when certain things were going on in the world, and there's always that element of time with whatever you have. So when you look at AIR, it's really nobody did it other than being a fake printed image on a piece of paper or a screen that has no element of humanity to it, or nothing was relative to it at all. There's no
Right.
story, there's no anything to it. And I think just gazing upon pieces of art or whatever and admiring their longevity or their history, or just the amount of people who have seen it,
Mm-hmm.
that's all lost with these computer generated things. And
Yeah.
it's the ape of art.
That's it. And I mean, at least it is. There are people, and I think the people doing it generally are well intentioned. I mean, I think you are just trying to make something beautiful, and you're trying to use the tools that you have right now, which are very technologically advanced. So it's not I'm not saying people are evil if you do this kind of stuff, but I think just again it's cheating, it's cheap, and these types of things, when you cheat in life to create something, or if you try to take shortcuts with anything, there's always a comeuppance, always. And I think part of that is going to be that there's going to be some comeuppance with this type of with artificial intelligence as a whole.
Mm,
I mean, it's going to come back, and it's going to bite us in the backside, because it always does. This type of stuff always comes back to bite you, and I'm absolutely sure that it will. And it's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of how far it's going to go. I mean, I'm really curious if perhaps maybe we'll see countries starting to regulate it at least, and possibly
mm.
ban it. I could see it. I could see your conservative countries saying, "Nope, this is
Oh yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
allowed,"
yeah, 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 yeah. Right. I could see that as well.
which I'm a fan of. Some things need to be regulated.
Right.
I mean, in my
Even
opinion.
the one we're looking at here, St. Anthony. You can see here the habit in the AI version is not Franciscan, so there's an inaccuracy to it.
Well, and part of that's the person who created it. Obviously, whoever created that didn't understand that. Hey, okay, I can't finish it here. Because I've never done this, but I assume you have to keep giving prompts, right? You're giving prompts to
Yeah, I
the
don't
AI.
know how it.
Prompt. Here's a
Yeah.
prompt, and then you keep going until it looks good. And obviously, in this case, whoever was the one prompting didn't finish. They didn't. The prompter didn't understand, and that's the whole issue with one of the big issues with AI is that it's not just artificial intelligence. Someone is doing the prompting, and someone is doing the coding, I suppose. Someone is saying, okay, what is allowed to be, what is, if someone prompts,
Mm,
what's going to come out, right? So someone has to code that. It's and I guess you could say a lot of it's just coming from the internet, but it's not that simple. It's not like just this open, I don't know, stream of internet consciousness. It is also, there are people who work, doing this to create, chat GP, whatever it is, chat
mm,
GPI or whatever it's called.
right.
And so again, there's also human error there. So you have pretty much both. You have the the computer error, the cheating side of it, but you also have the human error. Someone is programming this to allow you to do whatever, to allow the functions to work, and that's it's, I don't know,
There's actually
I don't
kind
know.
of bridging off that really quick. There's and I forget the conference. This was years ago that I listened to it, but I want to say maybe the Fatima Center. But I'm not sure. But there was a speaker there who gave a speech or an address on the famous painting of the Annunciation, and he pointed out how there's different depictions of Our Lady during this moment in time, and he said that one of the things that we should be careful of or pay attention to or give mind to is that when we are looking at certain images, they should be historically accurate because they are actual events that took
Mm-hmm.
place. They're not a
Yeah.
story that is made up,
Yeah.
but they're actual historical events. So they should be accurate. So that came into my mind as we were looking at this image here of the habit being inaccurate, is that thinking about the Annunciation, what would have been historically accurate when you're looking at that painting, because you're not looking at that painting in the year 2024. You're looking at that painting as if it was occurring today, as if you were actually physically before the Annunciation. That's where that piece of art is bringing you, almost trying to put you in the moment in time 2000ish years ago. So accuracy is highly important too, and I don't think that can be misunderstated. You are taking an actual historical event and bringing it to life. It needs to be represented correctly. And yeah, you look at this page here. I mean, those at the bottom there, those are just, I hate those with the weird backgrounds like that.
Yeah. 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 It looks like it's Star Wars or something, right? Or sci-fi. It doesn't look like
There's nothing even
religious
natural
images.
about it.
Yeah.
There's some
Exactly.
nice
Yeah.
images of Our Lady where she's outside near her home, or in
Yeah.
her, with Christ, and they're doing, I don't know, doing these weird bright orange circles behind you. Like, what
Yeah.
is that trying
Exactly.
to create? I hate it.
Yeah, well,
Ugh.
again, that's in the fingertips of the one giving the prompts, but and so again, I think the article is picking, it is being a bit too harsh on it, because I think you can make something beautiful, but again, I think it's cheating. I think it's again, it's something that, if you cut these corners, it, it's not good. It's not good to cut corners. God gave us certain talents. He gave some people extraordinary talents, and others, ordinary talents, and maybe some very little talents, but that's what we're given, and I think if we use that for the greater glory of God, that is what makes us thrive and survive and live normal lives and happy lives and attain eternity. But if you cheat, if you cut corners to create something that shouldn't be created without talent given to you by God, it's going to come back. I'm telling you, I don't know how exactly, but I mean, AI is definitely going to do it. But I mean, even this art, I think you're going to have a downside to this at some point. It's not just a creepy factor. Something, it's going to come back and get us. And I'm pretty convinced of that. And speaking of coming back and getting us, we're going to move on to our second topic, which is the biggest marketing fails in history. I got to be a little careful, because I didn't read this entire article. Matt hasn't seen it at all. So I better be a little careful, make sure that it's
Oh, I saw
inappropriate. This one's
that.
good. So Burger King, this is 2021. Women belong in the kitchen.
There were so
Which
many women who supported that. I remember that.
yeah,
That was
that's
that was
that's
3
awesome.
years ago. Holy cow.
3 years ago, yeah, and I don't remember this, but that is pretty funny. And then I just like how they kind of go back, like, oh, well, 6 hours afterwards, you could tell that some manager took it over as like, you idiot, whoever whatever intern was running
Do you
the
think that
social
was an
media.
innocent do you think that was an innocent mistake, or do you think somebody was really trying to push a message? I'm inclined to say it was not a
Uh
mistake, and
Maybe,
some
yeah,
misogynist
yeah,
was
could be.
was
Someone
was
got
near
fired.
the hay
Let's
limit.
just say that someone definitely got fired. But so the next one, if you want to, of course, only 20% of chefs are women. I just love how they're backtracking it. No, actually, it's fine. We're proud to be launching a new scholarship program which will help female Burger King employees pursue their culinary dreams.
Of course.
Oh man, I just love it. It's a female culinary dreams. You're
Their
working at Burger
culinary
King.
dreams is dropping
Now
fries
hear
and
me out.
grease.
It's fine. A job is a job. If that's the job you're working at, I think these types of jobs are good for young people who may be struggling, etc. So work is work, and working is good. And so never be ashamed of a job that's
That's right.
not immoral. But I just like how they say culinary dreams. I mean, come on, that's stretching it a little bit. The culinary dreams working at Burger King. Yeah. Pepsi commercial. Do you remember this, Matt? 2017. I don't watch TV, so I don't think I ever saw this commercial with
No.
Kendall Jenner. Kendall Jenner, that's her name, right? Yeah. Anyway, pretty much she goes to a Black Lives or a protest, with mostly black people, let's say that, and gives a Pepsi to one of the policemen trying to be peaceful, I suppose, and become friends with the quote unquote other side. And of
Mhm.
course, critics, I wonder what critics they were, came out and totally didn't like it and saying she was, understating the issues and whatnot. I just think that's kind of a
So she gave him a can of Pepsi.
she gave the cop a can of Pepsi. Yeah, it's pretty much like, hey, let's stop protesting. Let's kind of work together. And
Oh.
how dare she? Yeah, how dare Pepsi try to unify
Oh, try
people?
to, yeah. Oh,
Shame
I
on them.
see. I see.
Shame
Oh,
on them.
wow. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
That's an interesting
yeah. But
pull.
it's so yeah, of course. So the
Huh.
people who came out against it, of course, were your Black Lives Matter type people.
Sure.
Who are how dare you?
Taking their money.
Yeah, you're racist. So next one, this one's really interesting. I'm going to read this whole thing because I've heard this one before. So the AA or the A Air Pass, launched by American Airlines in the 1980s for $250,000, was a groundbreaking offer granting buyers unlimited first-class flights for life. With the
Wow.
inflation rate rocketing to more than 240% since 1981, that $250,000 ticket would now cost a dizzying $850,583.31 for the reference. The company was struggling financially, blah, blah, blah. So dream deal, right? No, actually what happened was you had a lot of athletes and other people buy it and ended up, and so again, that's lifetime, 250,000 lifetime. And many of these people were flying for over worth $1 million a
Mm.
year. Oh man, ouch. So I
They
wonder if they
tried.
lost overall. What do you think? Do you think that maybe they actually, I guess they lost, but I mean, that's not always a bad thing, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to figure out how much it actually cost them to fly people around. But
Yeah.
there was something similar, I think, Ford years ago when I want to say when it was Obama, the Obama years, where Ford tried to say if you buy a new car from us, we will lock in a price of $2.50 gas for life for you.
Whoa.
And I want to say like that was attempted, and then when Trump got elected, the projection was gas was going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ish dollars, and
Yeah.
when Trump was elected, it actually dropped lower than what these people were locked in at. and
Nice.
yeah, so that's something interesting. But yeah, I
And then
don't
went
know how
back
much.
up though. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It did. Yeah, it did. It's what is it here? 345 ish.
I think
Still.
here, and so here it's I just saw it today, 155 per liter. So I think that ends up being around 750.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're about, I could be wrong. Someone do the math for me, but I think we're about double usually what the US is. So if anyone ever complains about fuel in the US, then just
Yeah. All right. Never
move,
mind.
move,
Never
move to
mind.
Europe and you'll, you'll learn very quickly. It's an interesting issue. I mean, it has to do with all the subsidies and taxes and all these different things, but
Sure.
crazy, crazy, crazy price. Yeah. All right, next one. Coca-Cola messing up with the classics. I'm not going to go too much through this, but this is another really famous one where they tried to do the new Coke,
Oh yes.
and I guess it was a sweeter Coke apparently. And as they say
Nobody wanted
here, they were going to push this because they did a bunch of taste testing that people actually preferred the sweeter Coke, but as they say in the article, that was just from sipping, not full Cokes. And so the sweeter Coke,
it. Oh,
people ended up
understand
actually
your audience a little deeper.
hating it. Yeah. And people actually, I think it was almost like it was one of the actual boycotts, I think, that actually kind of worked. People were like, hey, we are never going to drink this. And I think they almost immediately took it off the shelves, which is pretty
Oh,
incredible. If you imagine,
okay.
they must have changed their entire production and probably pumped out millions of bottles of this stuff and then almost immediately like, oh shoot.
Right. That wasn't the move.
Yeah, right. Like, nah, okay, yeah, let's go back to the original. Don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the
Oh, this one here.
This
This
is
one was the
interesting. I am surprised they had this on here. Now, I understand if no one wants to look at the screen, I makes me ill looking at it too. But it's interesting that they actually put this on here at sellsy.com. I don't even know what the website is. In 2023, Bud Light attempted to champion Dylan Mulvaney, who, yeah, he is a creep pervert. I'm probably gonna get demonetized for saying that. And actually, so they had 29%
hmm,
tumble in U.S. dollar sales in 4 weeks.
hmm. I
That's
remember that.
awesome.
That was just
Yeah,
it was
last
just
summer, right?
whew. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a rock slide of sales. Just crazy.
And what I think we might have talked about this last year, but what are they thinking? Why?
Especially their
Why?
audience.
Yeah, why? Why do you think that the people who drink Bud Light? Okay, now Bud Light is not a good beer, but I mean, anyway, people who drink Bud Light are typically probably middle aged men, right? That's your primary audience.
Hmm.
Do you really think an American middle aged man is going to support this? I mean, who made that decision? That boggle. This is the one so far that I really truly can't like the Coke thing. Okay, you were banking on taste testing, which obviously was a bad idea. It wasn't a full Coke, which is too sweet, but you at least get the idea. But this,
It lost. It says there it ended up with Bud Light losing its crown as America's best-selling beer, a title that had probably held for over two
wow,
decades, 20
wow,
years.
crazy.
Whoops.
I wonder who holds it now. I think is it Miller now? Actually, I don't
I
even
don't
know.
know. What is that? A
uh,
shoe?
Adidas with that looks like a shirt, a shoe. Yeezy
Kanye West.
sneakers. I remember seeing that. Was it on? There was some basketball player or someone who was promoting. I don't remember who it was. Estimate eye popping 40. They estimated 40%. $2 billion shortfall. Well, look at that shoe. I mean, okay, I know that
Does it
fashion is.
even
Yeah,
even walk?
I don't even. How are you walking into that thing? I mean, okay, I understand people have stupid fashion sometimes, but I mean that it looks like it looks like a bad vegetable, like a vegetable that's
Yeah,
gone
look like a
bad or something, right?
cucumber or an
Yeah,
eggplant or
like a
something, or a
rotten
pickle.
cucumber. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to walk in a rotten cucumber. I mean, and I mean, yeah, that's
That's
bizarre.
weird.
And it doesn't seem. I mean, does that look like it would be comfortable? I cannot imagine that's comfortable.
Maybe like uh, I bet even walking in it, you have to kind of like roll your foot a little bit because how does a foot even fit in it?
And so they're actually saying it was because of Kanye West's series of anti-Semitic statements turned this profitable
Uh,
collaboration. Guys, I'm looking at that shoe. I don't think it was because of anti-Semitic
yeah,
comments.
I don't
I
think
mean,
that has
maybe I'm
anything to do
wrong.
with that
That does
at
not.
all.
No, no, that's just a terrible shoe. Sorry, guys. Yeah, moving on. Da, 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 da. Yeah, we're not going to watch an ad. Interesting Volkswagen. I mean, I know. I mean, in Germany, they're pushing to get rid of all diesel cars by I forget what it was, 2033 or something like that. But I
Oh,
think that they keep saying that and they keep pushing it back like 5 years. It's never going to happen. Our country in Germany is run by the Green Party, like literally tree huggers. Like actually, they pretty much run our country. So yeah, welcome to Germany.
hmm.
But the good thing is that they want to do electric cars and stuff, but then there's not even remotely an electrical grid or a system where you could do it. So I'm not too
So
worried.
it is no, yeah, yeah, yeah. It is no use. Maybe we'll go. Maybe things will get so bad, Kev, where we will have to go back to horse and buggy and all of that. We'll invert time.
As long we talked about that recently. As long as I can get to church, man,
Right,
I'm
you'll get there.
yeah, I'm cool with that.
You'll get there.
Give me a church closer by where I can ride a buggy or a horse. I mean, I was wearing a full suit coat today with a hat, and I just come on riding into it to
So
church.
classy.
Oh
Oh
man,
yeah, you
come
pull the
on,
horse over. Yeah, yeah,
let's go. I mean, maybe you got a rifle slung on your back for
yeah.
safety
Hmm.
purposes or something. I mean,
Hmm.
we do need to go back to those times. We actually just went to a beer garden today, or not a beer garden necessarily, but like a fest that was a music fest in an old cloister. Used to be a Boy, now I can't think of what they were. What was Saint Teresa? She was a
Carmelite, right?
Carmelite. Thank you. There's a
Hmm.
Carmelite cloister here right next to Austria, which is unfortunately I don't think used at all anymore. It looked pretty fairly run down actually, very dirty windows, kind of unpainted. But in their courtyard, they had a classical Bavarian music fest. And it was pretty neat, pretty neat environment. But it did, it was one of those things that just did make you kind of sad. It's like, man, this is what it was,
People used to live like that. Right, right, right.
and now it's yeah, and that's 30 minutes for us by car, so it'd be a long buggy ride, but it
Three
used to be
days
a
trek.
beautiful place with hundreds of nuns, and now it's just for fests and drinking beer and playing music. It's a sad world, but hopefully, I think that's another talk about, another thing to pray for. Man, we're gonna get these things back someday. It's going to happen.
Mm,
Maybe it's our grandchildren, but man, I still think that these things, the bones will still exist, and I think that eventually we're
yeah,
gonna we're gonna take that back, and I feel pretty good about that actually. Strangely, we have a really dumb world. They're talking about Dylan Mulvaney and stuff, but no, I think it's gonna turn around someday.
we hope.
We hope so.
We
Maybe
hope.
next week. Maybe by next Monday,
We'll have a new world. Yeah,
we'll have a
yeah,
whole new world.
yeah.
We'll see how it goes. No, Matt, I appreciate you coming on. I know you've had stuff going on.
Sure.
Appreciate you popped on for a few minutes. For anyone else who saw the Facebook post and wanted to come on the show, sorry, Matt
Your
beat you to it.
loss.
But yeah, you're lost. Yeah, losers. But yeah, but no, let us know what you thought. Let us know if you have any topics we'd like to talk about, you would like us to talk about. These topics were kind of last minute, as they can be sometimes. Typically, when Matt's really busy and I'm the one who's supposed to do any of the work, then yeah, things get kind of things end up
You've
being
got
last
other
minute.
stuff to worry about. That's
Yeah, I got other
You're
stuff,
busy.
and I'm terrible at planning and organizing things. Someday I'm going to get someone who just that's all they do. They just think of podcast
We
ideas
just
for me.
plan.
Yeah, exactly. I need a secretary who does all of that type of stuff, and I just do the talking randomly because that's what I'm best at. Anyway, Matt, hopefully we'll see you next Monday. And everyone else, thanks for joining us. Hopefully, let us know what you thought about this video thing. I don't know if we definitely won't do this every time, but perhaps if we have you know articles or topics that make sense to do it, we could probably even do it with a video as well. But let us know. Let us know if you liked it. Did you like having a video form, or are you totally fine with it just being audio? Let us know. And yeah, let us know what you thought about the podcast in general. We will see you all next Monday. Enjoy your Memorial Day, and yeah, eat a burger, drink a beer for me because I got to go to work. So God bless y'all, Matt. I'll see you later.